People in Colombia are livid that money was squandered to bring Prince Harry and Meghan Markle there. And now the backlash has gotten so big, the vice president of Colombia has had to respond, explaining where the money came from. But Harry and Meghan, where did the money come from? Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I am Andy Signor, and this is getting juicy. Before we get to the new comment, let's rewind for those of you who missed it. Harry and Meghan's tour of Colombia squandered public money, says local councilman. Colombia councilman has accused the vice president of squandering public money on vanity. 100% factual. The security chief of the city council took to social media to criticize the event, claiming billions of pesos have been used to host them, which could have been used to expand coverage of children's canteens, pay salaries of community mothers, seed capital for Afro communities, or adapt sports venues practically in ruins. Andre Escobar, who accused the vice president who traveled with Meghan and Harry of squandering public money on vanity, added that taxes have been on photo opportunities and social media. While it's not been confirmed how much the trip actually cost, it's understood the cost of security was shouldered by the vice president's office. Now, that's where things get interesting, because the estimates on that are in the millions of how much this allegedly cost. So the backlash got so big that, yes, breaking news, she had to respond and reveal, well, it wasn't just them who funded it. Ooh, are you ready to let's get into this, folks. Let's get into this. Officials in Colombia have now set the record straight about how Prince Harry and Meghan's tour was financed after the couple was accused of costing the country £1.5 million just to cover security. They visited Colombia, as we know, for the 4-day tour last week, visiting schools and performances, yada, 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 all the ridiculousness. These costs, which were worked out, £375,000 a day. 3,000 police, soldiers, helicopters, sniffer dogs, bomb disposal units, and a guard armed with a bulletproof shield in case of any sniper attacks. My goodness. However, Colombian Vice President Francis Marquez, who invited Harry and Meghan, has now revealed how the tour was funded. While their personal engagements were co-financed, it is understood that international agencies helped with the cost. Colombia Ministry of Equality and Equity also stated that the Sussex covered their own travel expenses. Interesting. So this is Archewell cost. Archewell's raising money, getting their funds to allow for travel so they can go to these foreign countries to show up and do good. That's what the charity is now doing. You just assume that these two are doing this out of the goodness of their heart. No, I would argue, and I want to see the books, I'm assuming these travel expenses are paid for by their Archewell charity, and that is just sickening. The level of cost for their travel is astronomically too high to go to these things. The money you would have spent going could be better used to do the charity. But no, they got to show up and do good with all the security to get those photo ops and fancy dresses, right? Statement by Marquez's office reads, "This visit was a result of a collective effort. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex financed their trip and that of their team with their own resources. The events held in the various places visited were co-financed with resources from international cooperation and philanthropy that generously contributed to this visit." So charity funds. The Ministry of Equality and Equity and the Vice President guaranteed the technical requirements, mobility, and participation of young people, women, and communities. Look, this is blasphemous. And this, I can't imagine Harry and Meghan are excited to see that this has now been out and the vice president's out there saying, well, we didn't pay for it all, because I'm sure Harry and Meghan were trying to just skirt the blame over there. Well, yeah, they paid for it. Of course, we didn't pay for it all. We don't waste money. We don't waste our charitable money. No. Obviously, this tour triggered questions about why the Duke and Duchess visited the country at all, the country which is facing huge socioeconomic problems. But there they were with all these fancy outfits and smiling and salsas, really making a change out in Colombia. Marquez's office has since claimed that Harry and Meghan's trip hoped to encourage tourism and investment. Is that what it was? All those social media classes really encourage people to go to other private schools in Colombia to learn about that. or, go to the vice president's private home and see fancy shows. They really showed us the beauty of Colombia, didn't they? Meghan and Harry really bringing it for Colombia. Bravo. They actually did nothing for Colombia. It was all for charity to help with the kids, who I'm sure of all the things they needed was a class on how to use social media. They didn't even bring them iPads or anything. No. The visit of Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess, helped to further demonstrate that Colombia is a country where global causes converge, a country capable of hosting diverse interests, as well as an attractive destination for investment, if you want to spend your charity money, tourism, and business. That's right. Sell your Netflix show here, will ya? This is reflected in the growing number of international visitors. We are receiving almost 6 million in 2023, a progressive trend that has positive impacts on the international of our country. During this visit, the country received attention of international media and citizens who were given a message that Colombia is changing positively. Look, that was a terrible investment. If that was what your goal is, all the press about this is what she wore, not about anything about Colombia, not Colombian designers, not Colombian, sites. They just went and did, royal stuff. That's all they did to make themselves look better. This whole trip was aimed to make the quasi-royal look like royals. Meghan and Harry, that's what this trip was for, not to show off Colombia. Oh, Colombia's wonderful. Yeah, they were in a bunch of weird houses and stuff. They didn't even look at Colombia. It is shameful that they took this money. And I want to know where their end of apparently their cost for all the travel and security came from. This is opening up a huge can of worms, so their quasi-royal tour, who's funding this? Am I? Is he on an A1 visa, which now suddenly prompts him to get all this extra stuff that we don't even realize the government's paying for? Where is this money coming from? Who on earth cleared these checks? And how on earth was this visit to Colombia the best use of charitable funds? These are fair, legitimate questions that I hope any future interviewer, even if they're on their side, asks pointedly and really challenges these two to start getting the truth of it. Because I am so sick of them spending charitable funds and countries that actually need, help. And they're spending it on these two bozos, these two narcissistic grifters. They're taking all this money that could go help these kids in Colombia that they visited. But no, it went to have them be there to walk around in fancy outfits. Shame on you. Shame on you. Disgusting. And I hope you're getting as angry as I am. This is one of the countless reasons why we don't trust them. Be clear and transparent with your books, you two. This is not bullying. This is not being mean. Where did the money come from? And I would challenge Prince Dre and all the Sussex squads to ask the same question. Or do you not actually care about the charity and the doing good part? You just believe it's all good. BS. This vice president was pressured. Everyone assumed Colombia foot the bill. And now she's like, well, we did it. We shared it with other international efforts. And they foot the bill themselves. So then where is this coming from? Which charity did this get put under when they're doing their books at the end of the year, huh? Why is not enough people asking this? This should be massive news. These two it is sickening. I don't understand what can justify it. Because even if they're like, well, yeah, we used our charitable funds to do it. I guess they could use their personal funds to go do this. Do we really suspect that's what they did, though? Because I don't. I'd like to make clear and see clearly that this is part of it. Now, maybe this was paid for by Netflix. Maybe this was out of the Netflix 100 million budget. Maybe. In which case, spill it out. Tell us. Make it clear. Because when you go on these quasi-royal charity visits, it's imperative that we understand where the finance is going. Archewell isn't about that. Archewell, and I want to end it there. Let me open it up really quick. When we look at Archewell and all their charitable stuff, show up and do good, it's important. It's important that you be very upfront and clear about what it is. Showing up, doing good in Colombia. That's what this was. They building a responsible digital future. Insight session in Bogota. That's what the money went to? How is this going to create actual change? What is the charity here? Showing up and doing good in Colombia with photo ops. Like, what? Deeply moved by the progress and passion demonstrated in Colombia as we continue through the Archwell Foundation to advance our mission to create positive change in the world. This charity is literally for them to go on vacations and be treated like royals. If I was in Colombia, I would be livid at this. Really? This is how you chose to spend the budget, Vice President? To have them salsa dance and hug all the elites in Colombia and go to seminars? This was the best use of funds to help the country. This is inspiring people to come visit. I can't even see any beautiful place. They're in buildings and in private residences. They didn't even go see the country. Shame on you two. Shame on you two. It's all about you. I am disgusted by this. Disgusted by this. These two are such hypocrites. They're the worst grifters, dancing on up without... I will keep on this. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button, and tell me, are you as mad as I am? Where do you think these funds are coming from? Tell me down below. We will continue to investigate. Make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned. Spread the video. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll be back with more on Popcorn Palace.